So at the moment, 15v15 competitive is pretty dead. There is basically only advances to play, which right now there is only 3 or 4 clans that are playing above 1500 elo. This was obviously very different back in like 3 years ago in like 2021, 22. Strongholds as well are down in general, I would say as well, because there is relatively no reason to play them. Obviously, 15v15, you have very little reason to play because there are no tournaments for 15v15. There are there's no more global map anymore. Well, for the campaigns, and there is no 15v15 gold season that's worth it. Obviously, gold season still exists, but you get 440 gold per week, which is not very good income when you can get the same amount playing war games. Obviously, the lack of clans playing 15v15 like advances is just due to the lack of rewards. And as I mentioned, the yearly campaigns have been replaced by maneuvers, as well as the competitive scene has more shifted towards 7v7 Onslaught as we get about, I think it's 4 OLSs a year, I think? Or was it 3? Something like that, anyway. A big amount, and I think we only get 3 15v15 tournaments when I think we used to get 4, maybe even higher, I don't remember. The most obvious way to get people back into advances and strongholds is just to give them rewards for their time and active play, giving people an opportunity to earn either personal Call of Duty points that are then exchanged for other items. It could be bonds or cosmetics or experimental equipment in kind of like an item shop. Would probably increase the amount of players that would be interested in playing advances. I mean, you could also just make it like a lot more boxes for advances to make clans play for them, and maybe there's some kind of incentive for the more boxes. Well, you just need to give an incentive for people to play for the boxes, and then they could use the boxes in other ways. This helps Wargaming as they will probably keep or retain players that are then more likely to spend money on the game, maybe at Christmas if they want to buy a few more boxes. As there is quite a lot of people that I know have just quit the game because they are tired of, well, they're not interested in 7v7. So one change could be like a cosmetic shop, as I mentioned, that uses personally gained 12 duty points, kind of like a campaign, or the Twitch shop, they use the drops shop, whatever it's called. This could have either fixed rewards or changing rewards, so it increase activity. So people are playing for the rewards, but obviously if you have a fixed shop, that's less less bother for Wargaming if it's just fixed, and you get to spend your points at the end of every month or whatever. There are obviously quite a few things that people will be interested in. Maybe you could give out old cosmetics that were available in 15v15 campaigns, like Damascus Steel, or just maybe some badges or banners for like a position in the advanced leaderboards. The next thing would be maybe introducing a new clan building that obviously would have to use the Tour of Duty points, or the boxes, or whatever you want to call them. And this building would either give like bonus or upgrades to boosters, like credit boosters. Maybe it gives like 5% extra bonus to like randoms or something like this, or it lasts longer, or it could give discounts to the clan shop for all the players within the clan. I don't know if this would work because then you'd have maybe some people just joining a clan after they get their Tour of Duty points. That's something for Wargaming, I guess, to figure out. Maybe I guess you could make it like only the points you make in the clan you are in at the moment would be able to be spent on the shop. I don't know, something like that. Next would be splitting advance and tier 10 skirmish leaderboards. They are very different modes. I don't see why they're counted as one mode. I guess because it used to be 10v10 for skirmishes, and they thought that was similar, but it's now 7v7, and that's completely different, I would say, now. And, if you wanted a maneuvers leaderboard, or like people practicing for maneuvers, they have their own leaderboard now, and it's not mixed in with advances. So I don't understand why they have not separated them, but I would do that. Next would be leaderboard positions, getting rewards. I mean, a lot of people have said this point over the many years, but just either like a weekly positional reward or a monthly. I mean, you could do daily, but I don't think daily would work very well. But you could have it. I mean, you have it in global map right now, or the gold season of global map, where you get the weekly rewards in gold and bonds for the clan. I don't see why they can't just do that for the leaderboards and advances, but weekly. I would probably cut the gold though, so you have the global or the gold season campaign or whatever you want to call it. That's like where you get the gold. Obviously, you would increase the amount of gold you're getting, because you only get 440 gold, I think, per week if you're first place in the leaderboard and you're getting your 40 gold per day for playing. So yeah, I would make it probably weekly based, where you would earn probably bonds, or obviously if Wargaming don't want to give away many bonds, I would just make it more boxes for the clan, so that they could then spend them on boosters, so they're forever having credit boosters in the clan, or free XP ones. That'd be another way to get people to play the game. You could also do maybe a discount if you're top 3. First place gets like a 10% discount or something like this, and third place gets like, I don't know, a 5% discount or something like that, Next would be how Tour of Duty kind of works. Obviously, the existing system that we have now, I think, is more than good enough. The way you can get a caro is, I think, very good. I think they just need to add more vehicles to it. Personally, I would take out the 121B 907 M60 from maneuvers, and then I would put them into Tour of Duty, which gives people more things to grind in advances and skirmishes when they're getting the Tour of Duty points, and they can get more rewards for playing that, increasing more players playing, as well as it frees up some spaces for new tanks in maneuvers, or maybe a 15v15 campaign. Obviously, you would just do the Tour of Duty like the Caro, and you just have, four. It would be like the BlackRock missions kind of thing. You just select which one you want to go down, and you go down that entire thing. So you can go down and get like this. Maybe the second reward is like a female crew member with like BIA 0 perk. So you could go down, get that crew member, and then go to another one, and then get to number 2 again and get BIA crew member, and then you could just target the rewards you want. Obviously, you would need to make a separate currency for each of the, I guess, branches or whatever you want to call them, or mission sets, so people are not using the ones they've built up over time just to go straight through them. So you can't just go straight through them. You have to grind to get the rewards if you want them. And I don't see how this affects Wargaming in any way, or any badly way. Most people already have a 121B K91, so not K91, 907 and M60. I mean, they're all available for bonds anyway, so I don't see why they're still in maneuvers or any campaigns. And most people will just get like 3 million credits, which I don't think would be bad at all. Now, for the leaderboards of advances, or I guess advances, or could be everything if you wanted to, but to ensure people keep on playing, and you can't just play 50 games and then just sit there for the rest of the month at 1700 elo and just chill and get all the rewards. There would be some kind of set loss of elo every single day, or maybe you put it weekly. I don't know. It depends on how you're giving the rewards out, but probably daily, so that a clan would eventually, if they stopped playing, would drop out of the top, let's say 10, and they would get a lot less rewards. So it incentivizes people to keep on playing for the rewards. We'll say that probably top 50 get some reward of some kind. That's hopefully up to Wargaming to decide what they see fit. Obviously, probably I would just give either credit boosters, or more boxes, or a bit of bonds, or something like this. And I would say top 50 is probably around 1300 elo. It might drop, or it probably will be 1300 elo, or might drop, I guess, if for some reason people are not playing. But that gives most clans, I think, an opportunity to at least earn something, because you still want people that are in weaker clans to still play advances and make them feel like they have a decent chance of getting the rewards. And it's not just, the top clans getting everything. So the drop rate would be something like maybe 20 or 10 every single day for a clan that doesn't play. Maybe that somehow multiplies for how much elo they are. So, if they're 1700 elo, maybe it drops by 20 every single time. If you're only 1300, then it maybe only drops by 10 every day. I don't know. Maybe that's too difficult to figure out. I haven't really thought about that much, if that's an issue, but I'm sure Wargaming or someone would be able to tweak it to make it better for everyone. Just another thing I was thinking about would be some kind of better way for people to find clans. And for example, this is NA that I'm on right now, but because all my accounts are currently in a clan, so I can't really show you any other way. But you have these preferences only really to find a clan that you want, as well as you have now you can see if they platoon, the stronghold level, the global map level, and the clan reserve usage. Personally, I would remove global map because it only happens once a year anyway, so what's the point? I would replace that with either advances or war games. Maybe put /war games or whatever, as I feel like most people aren't joining a clan for global map anymore. So why not put it for advances, something like this? You could say the platoons are kind of pointless to put there as well. But, maybe just, I guess that's fine. But you could add more to the bottom of this. Maybe have like 6, maybe. The clan reserve usage I would feel like is a hard thing to quantify, I guess, because it should just be a number, I think, instead of a bar. You could say 2 boosters a day or 3 boosters a day or unlimited or something like this. I think would be a lot better for the clan description. I also feel like there should be a way to set things for your own clan there should be a way of setting requirements to apply to a clan, because right now there is barely any requirement, or you can't really be specific on what you want to apply to the clan. Because right now in Gifted we get you get the 46% players with 3 battles that can apply to the clan. I feel like if there was some way to at least set like a DPG expectation or something like that would be quite nice for some clans, because most people are setting Rex by you must have at least 2k DPG in most of your tier 10 tanks recently to apply for the clan, because most people don't look at the clan description to see what they want. They just apply anyway and hope to get it, so I feel like there should be a better way to apply to clans and better parameters for clans to set for people to apply to the clan. And another very quick point would be having more maps in the map pool, because currently right now I'm basically playing on the same, I would say 6 maps most of the time. So adding back Malinovka, Red Shy you could add, Westfield, what's the other map? Serene Coast, Malinovka. Some more maps would be nice. And I still have no idea why they removed some of them in the first place to add Jajankian steps. And the final thing would be Gold Season campaign. I know I've touched on it a little bit previously, but personally obviously everyone's saying that the rewards are not enough. I would imagine Wargaming has heard that and just said no, but I would increase the rewards, as you're only getting 440 gold per week per player if you're even first place. If you're first place, you get 10,000 gold. If you split that, I would say if you want to get first place, you need at least 3 teams. It's possible maybe with 2 to get like high 9,000s, but I think you will need 3 teams to get top 1, maybe even top 3. So let's say that is then split up by 50 people, because you're not going to have exactly 45 people in the 3 teams. That equals out about 200 gold per player for that week. So, 40 times by 6 is 2,400. Sorry, 240, sorry. I added an extra 0. And then you get that 200 gold on top of that from the weekly treasury, I guess. This is worse than probably the amount of gold that you would get from Wargames which happens on a Saturday. So I don't really understand why the gold amount is so low. Obviously, you can get both in a week, but from the gold season, you're playing, I would say, about 5 hours a day. If you start at, well, my time zone starts at 5 p.m. UK, and it finishes at, well, the last time zone's 9 p.m., but you probably play for at least half an hour there. So you are playing for at least 4 hours, maybe even probably just under 5, I would say. So you were playing for 5 hours a day for 6 days a week, which is 30 hours. God, math is hard. So yeah, you're playing for 30 hours a week for 400 gold in the week, and you could just play war games for 2 hours and get about probably 400, roughly, I would say, if you have that many people playing. So why are you playing for 30 hours exactly on the global map to get that amount of gold? I would probably make this per player. I would probably make it like a K every week, to be honest. I mean, obviously, other people will have different answers to what they think is worth it, but obviously, Wargaming don't want to get to the point of the previous gold season of, having so much gold given away there. Some provinces were giving, I think, like 10K every day, which is, not sustainable for the economy, but I think 1K a week for every player is probably manageable. You could probably increase that maybe to 2, but, you know, uh, it's up to, I guess, other people's opinion on what they think the amount of gold is worth it. But personally, 400 for an entire week for 30 hours is very much not worth it. I mean, that's basically a full-time job. I mean, you work about 37 hours a week, I think. So, and you get paid minimum wage is a lot more than, that amount of gold. So, yeah, I don't know. It's very strange the amount of how little gold you get from the gold season. Another problem for the gold season, obviously, is the time that you have to play, which is around probably about 6. Well, in the gold season, it's like 5 hours probably, but in a 15v15 campaign, it was about 6 hours every day. So, and you'd only have about 1 hour to 2 hours of actual gameplay. Obviously, this needs to change. This is why I would imagine Wargaming brought in maneuvers. So to fix this IMO, you need to come up with a system where it's only 2 people fighting over a clan, over a province, sorry, and they get put into an advance against each other. And then it's just like whoever, after the 40 minutes is over, whoever's on, like who's won the most battles, I guess, has won the province. I don't know how you would exactly do this in a way and how it all work, but I think you just need a way of having people go into a tournament or an advance. I mean, you could, yeah, so you could do the advance way, or if not, would have to do some kind of tournament again where it's only 2 players, 2 clans fighting over one province, and the people just get put into a special battle / tournament, and then you play that tournament out. Well, I guess you play that match out against the other clan, and it's like best of, let's say 5. So first people to 3 win the province. I feel like that's probably more possible. However, I don't know. Maybe that will be a lot more on the server, I guess, because it's having to make a lot of tournament battles. But I think advances could work, IMO. But they're the 2 kind of things I would think that would work for the global map to avoid people having, waiting for 30 minutes or 45 minutes for their next game. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on 15v15. So thank you for watching, and yeah, catch you in the next one.